You could say all the right things, be loyal, be honest, and still lose her respect without realizing it. It's not what you did, it's what you said. 5 confessions that turn attraction into pity every single time. The last one will shock you completely. Today, I'm releasing the 5 secrets that no matter how intimate you become with a woman, no matter how much you care for her, you must never share. Not because women can't be trusted, but because these disclosures set off psychological answers that kill attraction and respect, usually for good. I'm warning you ahead of time. The 5th secret is the most risky one. It's something every man has trouble with, something that seems natural to discuss. But discussing it is like exploding a bomb in your relationship. After you say this, there is no turning back. These aren't about being fake or dishonest. They're about knowing human psychology and keeping the very things that make relationships function. Let's get into what needs to remain in the vault. 1. Your innermost insecurities and self-doubts. The first secret you should never reveal is the entire depth of your innermost insecurities and self-doubts. While vulnerability is necessary in a relationship, there's an important difference between opening up about growth-oriented issues and dumping your entire inventory of fears and inadequacies. I learned this difference from my friend Jake, who was seeing a wonderful woman named Lisa. They had great chemistry, excellent conversation, and what appeared to be a rock-solid bond. But Jake erred in sharing all of his insecurities during what he believed was an intimate moment of bonding. He shared with her his fear that he wasn't successful enough, his anxiety over his looks, his concern that he wasn't good enough for her, his fear that other men were better looking and better equipped than him. He believed this much vulnerability would unite them closer and prove to her how much he trusted her. The outcome was catastrophic. Lisa came to perceive him just as he perceived himself: insecure, inadequate, and uncertain. The confident, good-looking man she had fallen in love with was transformed in her mind to a man who couldn't even appreciate his own value. The relationship didn't last a month. Here's the psychological truth. When you're always telling a romantic partner how deeply insecure you are, you're actually asking them to shoulder the emotional load of reminding you of your value. This turns them from a lover to a counselor, and attraction never endures that transition. 2. Your entire romantic and sexual past. The second secret that needs to remain buried is the entire detailed romantic and sexual history. It's okay to talk about past relationships in a general way, but revealing too much information about former lovers causes issues that can never be resolved. I saw this error through my friend Marcus, who thought total honesty meant disclosing everything about his past with his girlfriend Sarah. Having a late-night discussion about past relationships, he discussed in great detail ex-girlfriends, what it was like with them in bed, details about what they did together, how the relationships ended, and even Sarah versus past partners. Marcus believed this openness would create intimacy and trust. What this did instead was create insecurity, jealousy, and mental images that Sarah couldn't erase from her mind. Each time they were intimate, she couldn't help but wonder how she measured up to his pasts. Every time he said something about a female friend, she inquired about their past. The intimate details that were supposed to connect them actually fostered distance and distrust. Here's the psychological reality. Too much information about your past generates mental competition between your current partner and your past ones. When other people know intimate details about your love past, they can't help but compare themselves to those experiences, typically in ways that foster insecurity as opposed to confidence. The proper amount of sharing regarding your past is general themes and lessons learned, not intimate details or comparisons. You may mention that you've learned the value of communication from previous relationships, but you don't have to divulge intimate details regarding how those relationships worked or ended. 3. Your breaking points and moments of weakness. The third secret comes with those moments when you've been at your lowest, when you've cried uncontrollably, experienced panic attacks, felt utterly defeated, or been swamped by life to the point of utter collapse. Though these moments are a part of being human, revealing the full range of these experiences can change how you're viewed at a very basic level. I learned this the hard way by observing the way my friend David's relationship evolved after he disclosed his breaking point to his girlfriend Emma. David had been through a stressful episode, loss of job, family issues, and financial strain all converged at once. Throughout this period, he experienced what he called a complete emotional collapse that had lasted several days. When things settled down, David decided to relay this experience to Emma in full. He described hours of crying, feeling utterly hopeless, times when he couldn't stop trembling with fear. He believed telling her would make her understand what he had endured and bring them closer together. Instead, Emma started to view him as vulnerable and unstable. The strong, capable guy she'd fallen in love with was replaced in her head by someone who could completely fall apart when life got difficult. While she was sympathetic and supportive, the fundamental way she viewed his strength and reliability had changed. Here's the psychological reality. While everyone has breaking points and moments of weakness, sharing the full extent of these experiences can trigger protective instincts in partners that work against romantic attraction. When someone sees you as someone who needs protection rather than someone who can provide protection, the dynamic of the relationship shifts. 4. Your financial fears and money anxieties. The fourth secret that should never be fully revealed is the complete extent of your financial fears, money anxieties, and economic insecurities. While financial transparency is important in serious relationships, sharing every fear and anxiety about money creates stress and insecurity that damages the relationship dynamic. This lesson became clear to me through my friend Chris, who was dating a woman named Jennifer. Chris was doing well financially but had deep anxieties regarding money due to having grown up in a financially strapped household. He worried incessantly about losing his job, about lacking sufficient savings, about not being financially stable enough to take care of a future family. In what he believed was a serious discussion of their future, Chris revealed all of these concerns to Jennifer. He explained his anxiety attacks while writing checks, his frequent checks on bank accounts, his fear that he wasn't financially secure enough for a serious relationship, and his concern that she would depart from him if his earnings slowed down. Jennifer started perceiving Chris as emotionally insecure and financially unreliable when it came to money. Though his true financial condition was stable, his anxiety translated into her anxiety, and far from calming him, The discussion planted a seed of doubt in her mind regarding their financial stability together. She began to wonder if he could really offer the stability she craved. Here's the psychological reality. When you share profound financial fears with a romantic partner, you're asking them to do emotional labor around money that isn't their job. Financial anxieties are contagious, and discussing too much about your money worries typically causes the very insecurity you fear. Here's the psychological reality. When you share profound financial fears with a romantic partner, you're asking them to do emotional labor around money that isn't their job. Financial anxieties are contagious, and discussing too much about your money worries typically causes the very insecurity you fear. 5. Your desperation for the relationship to succeed. The fifth and most threatening secret, the one that ruins more relationships than any other, is disclosing the complete degree of how desperately you need the relationship to succeed, how much you are afraid to lose her, and how barren your life would be without her. This is the secret that feels most natural to tell, because it feels like the greatest expression of love and devotion. But telling this kind of emotional dependence is relationship poison that has the exact opposite result of what you're attempting to achieve. Here's the crushing psychological fact. When you disclose how much you need a relationship to function, you change from a prize to be won into a weight to bear. Rather than being someone she's eager to select, you become someone who requires her to select you. Neediness destroys attraction faster than nearly anything else. Women want men who want them, but don't need them. They want someone who would be sad to lose them, but wouldn't be ruined by it. They want to be selected by someone who has enough strength to leave if the relationship doesn't serve both individuals. So there you are. The 5 secrets that must never exit the vault. Your darkest insecurities and self-doubt. Your entire romantic history. Your moments of absolute breakdown. Your money fears and anxieties, and your desperation for the relationship to succeed. If this video taught you the difference between healthy vulnerability and emotional dumping, hit that subscribe button and leave your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever shared too much, too soon? How did it impact your relationships? And don't forget, the strongest relationships are founded between 2 whole people who decide to build their lives together, not between 2 broken people who require each other in order to be complete. Leave some things locked in the vault. Your relationships will be better off for it.